Thank you, Jane. It's good to be with all of you again. I think we missed last summer. I think we were away learning some Gregorian chant down in Oklahoma. So that was an adventure in itself. Let me adjust this. So today I have with me Sister Lucia Rose, and those of you might remember her under a different name, dressed in a different way. So in January, on January 6th, so the great feast of the Epiphany, I took my final and solemn, final and perpetual vows with the servants of the Children of Light. So finalized my commitment, so to speak, to what the Lord's asking of me. And Sister received the habit, so she is a novice now. Perhaps Mother Mary Joseph explained that to you last month. The white veil would mean that the sister is a novice. So that is a duration of at least 1 full year, canonical, what they call a canonical novitiate, required by canon law of the church. And in that time, they need to spend a full year in study and extra prayer. It's forming not only the intellect, but also the human person to really live and dive into the charism of the community and to really form a strong relationship with the Lord. Thereafter, we as a community have a second year of novitiate, which would be the apostolic novitiate. So she will then come January 6th, literally the day of, we start school again at Christ the King. And so she will come with me to the school and assist in a certain capacity, probably, 6 to 8 hours a week, and then continue her studies. So with simple vows, so that's your first commitment in a religious community, our simple or first vows for a duration of 3 years. So that'll be probably the end of 2025. So we continue to pray for her perseverance. So, other than that, I wanted to show this video today. So a little bit about it. Be Wise Media. So that would be Ben Weisbeck, cathedral parishioner. He's been doing great work. And he was generous with his time and put together this video for us. So where's John? Oh, John. And the Knights of Columbus were very helpful in getting this done. So I appreciate that, as well as Pete. So thank you for that. Oh, we had started. Okay. So here you will see some footage from the final vows and investiture, as well as a really beautiful description of what Montessori education is. You will also see in this video some footage from Christ the King Catholic Montessori School. And I really want to show it because I can talk about Montessori education, what we're doing, where we're going, but to see it is something different. So I will let you enjoy this video. It's about 6 minutes. Talks not only about our foundation, but also, again, about Dr. Montessori and her work with the children. All right. Thank you, Jim. I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea of what we're all about, especially our work with the children in the school. So as you can see, those were the Montessori prepared environments. So Montessori talks about a trinity with a small t, of course, meaning that there is the child, the prepared adult, and the prepared environment. So here you would have seen the child working in a prepared environment. So that environment is totally for them. It's not an aid to the teacher at all. It's dedicated completely to the child. And so our job is to prepare the environment, which is commonly known in traditional education as a classroom, so that the child can really be completely independent and free to do what they need to do according to what they have been learning from their Montessori guide. Another big part of Montessori education is the prepared adult. So Maria Montessori even goes so far as to say, because remember she was Catholic, I hope this video helped you see that, she really was someone who deeply loved the child. She also deeply understood the child in a way maybe that people in her time wouldn't have really understood, or maybe we haven't seen it since. And so the gift that the Lord gave her was very, very special. And we see it especially in the way she said that the adult working with the child needs to be prepared. And so she said we need to root out all pride and impatience and anger if we are really going to welcome the child that's standing before us. So part of our mission right now is to prepare ourselves so that we can really serve the child the best. So since I've seen you last, I finished my Montessori training, my AMI Montessori training for the youngest, the child from birth to 3, which was an incredible experience because Montessori starts at birth, Montessori education, and goes all the way through the continuum of those who are in elder care, we could say, or those who have like dementia or problems with their memory, etc. She goes through the whole entire span of human life, and so we desire really to be able to serve that whole span of human life as we continue to grow, because we're just 2 right now, but we are confident the Lord will send more through your prayers. So that when Sister is finished with her novitiate, she will begin her Montessori training as well. So really that's like an update for you, is that's what we're really working on right now, is to prepare ourselves for the mission, which is very, very important. And so we continue to serve the children at the school. So I continue to be in the atrium. So that is the Montessori religion portion. We do adhere to Catechesis of the Good Shepherd, which I think many of you have heard of before. But we're also finding that Maria Montessori had 4 pillars to her religious formation. So she had liturgy and scripture, which is really heavily found in Catechesis of the Good Shepherd. But she also brought about 2 other pillars, which would be church history and the saints. So any of you who have children or grandchildren that are elementary age, we know that they're looking for a hero or someone that they can model their life after. So oftentimes they look to sports people, but we're like, here are the saints for you, right? And so Maria Montessori knew this, and so she wanted the children to graft onto the lives of the saints, to be their heroes and example, because we're all called to holiness, we're all called to be saints, and that is the purpose of Catholic education, is really to make saints. And so what better role model to look to than the saints themselves? And so I found that the children just gravitate naturally to that, so we're trying to give them materials that foster that desire that they have. Another aspect then of Montessori for her religious formation was church history. So we're really excited to begin to bring about this in the school as well. We're noticing that the children, obviously they're learning so much history in their environments, in the Montessori environment, so we want to give them that as well in the atrium. So other than that, let's see if we've been doing anything else that would be of interest for you. So we are hopeful one day that we can have a Catholic Montessori training center. This is something that is years in the future, but we're very, very hopeful because we know that Montessori and all of her fullness really needs to be preserved. So the AMI Montessori is doing a wonderful job at keeping her roots, close to her roots. They've done amazing translations of her work, but we also know that we need something more, perhaps. Perhaps you also already heard kind of like what Father Clemmer was talking about University of Mary. An update for you on that is that they did begin a master's in Catholic Montessori education this past fall. So Father Schneider and I were working closely with them to bring that about, and we were very, very excited about this. It is the first one in the nation, and it's just actually to offer Catholic Montessori master's degree in education. And it's actually very beautiful that it's just right here where the community began too. So it's a very nice continuum in that respect. So other than that, does anyone have any questions for us? My big ask for you, of course, is to pray for vocations as one of your missions as Serra. So we have so much interest worldwide from the community. We've had in the past few months, I'd say more right after Final Vows, I was contacted by Aletheia or Aletheia. So they did a big article that went out worldwide, translated into French and Spanish. We also had an article, Catholic News Agency did a big article on the community, and that went as far as Sri Lanka, India for sure, and Vietnam picked it up. Canada picked it up, so I was getting emails from all over the world. It was really something. And then CatholicMoms.com did a really lovely article, so I was very grateful for that. So we've received a lot of attention about Maria's desire being fulfilled, but we're now asking that the Lord sends more workers into the vineyard. Because as one person said, you could have 4,000 sisters and you wouldn't have enough. Yeah, Mike?
So some of the orders in the church, like Opus Dei, they have specific divisions maybe for men and women and such. Is there anything that's uniquely available for men?
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
That's all I can say at this moment. Yes.
And we have grandkids at Christ the King.
Yeah, I know them well.
And it's so interesting to go there, and it's so foreign because I went to Catholic school, and we were pretty much lined up in the desk all the time, and we were very, very rigorously disciplined for, to be I'll probably just take all of the creativity out of us. But that's when I go to visit that school, it looks like so much fun. I'm seeing why the kids like to go to school there.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm curious about is, does the Christ the King Montessori School or the School of the Holy Family have standardized tests that they participate in to see what the kids are doing scholastically or?
Yeah, so we do. We don't test the children in the Montessori environment because tests and homework aren't part of Montessori. But we do have the children engage in the standardized state tests and national tests. And they score where they should be, sometimes higher. Oftentimes higher in reading and math. I remember one year we had a 6th grader who was testing beyond 12th grade for reading comprehension and reading itself. 4th grader who was doing 11th grade math. So it depends, it's going to follow also, the academic aptitude of the child, of course, but they are par or above usually. So, yeah. So, and we do, Montessori doesn't, just make things up. It's a proven method and it's tried over 100 years. And so it's recommended in the elementary age that you give the children the state standards. Here is what you're expected to know. And so they can be like, okay, they can go through and they'd be like, I need to learn this more, or I really need more lessons on this particular area. So they're not in the dark on what their peers are studying, but they are usually ahead of what their peers are studying. So, Yes, Jean?
I have 2 questions. First of all, is your order in Little Mandan, North Dakota, the only one in the nation?
Jesus' order, and yes, the only one in the world.
The only one in the world?
Yes. Because remember, Dr. Montessori always wanted one, an order dedicated to her mission, her method of education, but there is none that have ever existed before.
Okay. And so is the Montessori method also used for math and English and science?
Yes, it's used for all of the subjects. So you would have seen the children in the video doing all different types of subjects. Yep, every subject. I know I was talking with Scott about the beauty of the atrium and the religious portion, but then it's imagine that being your whole experience. I mean, you can even the grandchildren, I forget, of Joe, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Kevin, yep. I mean, they're in the school and they could even see the children are really our best representatives. They could come here and tell you what they're doing, but I sit down and do math with some of them and I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. But it's they're beyond what I learned, in high school probably. But the method applied to all the subjects is really something beautiful. And it's kind of, if you think of the classical model of education, everything's kind of intertwined. And that's also what they do in the Montessori education. So it's not, today we're going to study math, but if we're studying math, maybe we also bring in some science or some history or something like this too. And a lot of it starts with stories in the elementary age. So I tell a story and then it sparks an interest and then we go into the material or something like this. So. Anybody else have any questions for me? All right, well, thank you. I really appreciate your time today. Please pray for us for vocations, and we will see you in August.